Hello everyone, this is Yasmine. I'm currently exploring Latin America and I'm making this video as a conclusion to my 1 month traveling through Colombia. In this video I want to share with you everything regarding this trip, from itinerary, budgeting, safety issues, mistakes we've made and all the tips we have with you so that you can have a smooth experience and enjoy this amazing country as I did. Because the thing is, I had really high expectations about Colombia and I had that feeling that it might disappoint me because I've heard so many beautiful things about it, but also a lot of people warning me about safety issues and everything. So eventually, as a spoiler, it did not disappoint. We did not have big issues, but I want to share with you everything that we did to ensure that we will have a nice trip, and so will you. First of all, I will start with the itinerary. As I said, me and my boyfriend spent 1 month exploring Colombia. During this time we visited a few destinations. I think we could have fit more in this amount of time, but we wanted to travel slow, to take time to work and to really immerse into the culture and the places that we visited. So we started off with Bogota. We heard mixed reviews about the city, especially about the safety of it. It's the capital of Colombia, it's the biggest city, the most crowded, and the most unsafe, I think. At least that's what they say. We decided to visit this city because the flight, the cheapest one we found into the country, was through Bogota. And we said, okay, we won't spend too much time here because it is unsafe, but at least 2 days since we are here, it would be bad not to give it a shot, you know? And honestly, in those 2 days, we did some amazing things, and I really recommend you do not skip Bogota, because at least a bike tour to discover all the city, taste the most amazing fruits I've ever tasted in my life. I will leave you the link of the episode with the bike tour so you can do it. It's honestly a great way to discover Bogota. And then another thing you should not miss here is a climb to the Montserrat for amazing views, delicious coca tea, and a really nice atmosphere. So yeah, Bogota at least 2 days. After Bogota, we decided to go to Salento, and this is the place that I think we were excited the most because we are coffee lovers, and you might know that Colombia makes the best coffee in the world, and Salento being in the coffee zone, of course you would expect the best coffee in the world. And I haven't tried all the coffees in the world, but I can tell you that the coffees that I drank there were the best of my life. So yeah, at least for that you should visit Salento. But then the people there, the colorful streets, the food, Cocora Valley, all the trekking that you have around, the coffee tour. I strongly recommend you to not miss it, absolutely, but to spend more than 1 or 2 days, how people usually spend there. Maybe at least 4 days. We spent 6, I think, but that's because, as I told you, we were also working during this time. And then after Salento we took another flight to Medellin. I will discuss with you about the transportation methods through Colombia after the itinerary, so you can understand why we flew so much. Anyways, we arrived in Medellin. In Medellin, I think we spent around 7 days. Honestly, in my opinion, I think you might disagree with me, but I preferred Bogota over Medellin. I found Medellin to be more unsafe, more unhygienic, I think, but I will discuss about safety at the end of this video and I will elaborate more. Anyway, in Medellin people spend 5-7 days. I would recommend, I don't know, maybe 3 days. At least do a tour of the Comuna 13, which is really a nice place, and you can see the changes that they've made from the most unsafe place on earth to now a place full of culture, music and fun. And we also did another tour of the downtown. a free walking tour, which was really nice because we got to understand a lot of things about the history of Medellin, why it still is the way it is, but how it has actually transformed. And I don't know, give it a try, but do not have big expectations as we did, because for us, I don't know, it was a little disappointment. And also in Medellin, I would also visit El Poblado, because it's a very nice area where you can have drinks, live music, party. So yeah, maybe 3 days in Medellin, it would be fine for the 2 tours, and for El Poblado. Okay, from Medellin you can get to Guatapé. Guatapé was a big surprise. I think it was the biggest surprise of our Colombia travel itinerary. Usually tourists go there for just 1 day as a day trip, but honestly, and please take my word, I would suggest spending at least one night there, because the people are great, it's a very nice community, it's super safe, the prices are very good, it's very colorful. You can do a boat tour, you can climb the Piedra del Peñol, you can just enjoy the music and the vibe of the city. We even visited the farm. It's very, very nice. And remember, for everything that I'm saying here, you will probably find the vlog. I have an episode from Guatapé. I really think it is the most underrated city in Colombia. And since it's so close from Medellin and you can get there by bus, please just take some time there, because it's very, very nice. You'll thank me after, I think. So then we returned from Guatapé to Medellin in order to take another flight to reach our final destination in Colombia, which was Cartagena. Cartagena, also, we read a lot of mixed reviews about it. People stating it's super touristic, people stating it's super expensive, others saying that it's worth visiting because it's so colorful and has so much history and indigenous communities. And we decided to visit it eventually, and for us it was really fun. We spent, I think, 1 week there again, because we worked in the meantime, but I think a good amount of time in Cartagena would be 4 days or 5 days, because another thing that I suggest doing, if you like beaches, since you are in Caribe, you can go to Baru Island and visit Playa Blanca. That's a good thing to do in Cartagena, and my suggestion would be not to join a tour, because the tours are expensive and they don't look safe, but you can get there by Uber or by taxi. It will leave you near the beach, and then you can spend 1, 2, or 3 nights there. We spent 3 nights. It was really nice, and it was not as expensive as they were saying. The beach was amazing, honestly. We swam, the weather was perfect, the sunsets were good, the food was decent. Yeah, you should not skip it if you like beaches. Also, Cartagena is really nice to walk around. It's very colorful. You can feel the history. You can meet with the indigenous women with the colorful dresses, with the fruits. You will taste amazing fruits, and it's a night party scene there at night. But be careful after the sunsets, because it can get a bit dangerous, and I'll discuss about that later on. So to recap, as an advice for you who will probably not have as much time as us, I would say from the places we visited, I'd recommend 2 days in Bogota, at least 3 days in Salento, 3 days in Medellin, at least 2 days in Guatapé, and 3 or 4 days in Cartagena. This is the end of the itinerary. From Cartagena we flew straight to Panama, where I am right now, and after we will go to Costa Rica. So don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in more Central America, Latin America content. Yeah. Now I still want to talk about transportation options, budgeting, and the end safety issues and tips that I have for you. Regarding transportation, Colombia, if you looked on the map, it's a very big country. And you can take buses, but since we were working and we were traveling so slow, we didn't want to lose more time just transferring through buses. So since they don't have railway, they only have buses, private transportations, taxis, and flights, and it's very easy, pretty affordable, and very fast to travel by plane. We decided to take this method into consideration, and we flew from one place to another, with the exception of Guatapé and Medellin, where we traveled with bus because it's just 2 hours the time of traveling between these two. But even those 2 hours of ride were hell, because the roads were not good, there were a lot of curves, the drivers were driving like crazy. So we were imagining, oh my god, what if we were on a bus for 12 or 15 hours? Crazy. So I would suggest maybe flying. Now I want to talk about budgeting and about how expensive is Colombia. Well, we knew Colombia would be cheap. We were not expecting it to be cheap as Asia, because we've traveled through Asia for 8 months, and it was honestly an amazing surprise how little money you need to backpack Asia, but that's another story. Anyway, I will tell you approximate cost for accommodation. We usually spend somewhere between 20 to 40 euros dollars per night for 2 persons for a double room, and usually we had private bathroom. In terms of accommodation, plenty of options, not so many under 20. Usually places with 20-30 dollars per night have shared bathroom. That's a very common thing here in Latin America, as I've seen. As a backpacker, solo traveler, I think you can find a bed for around $10-15 per night with breakfast included. And what I realized, the options for backpackers, for solo travelers, are way better than for couples, way cheaper, with very nice pools, breakfast, a lot of places to socialize. A good thing to have in mind if you're a solo traveler in Colombia, you'll have a good time, quality time with very nice accommodation for very little money. The most expensive places in terms of accommodation, I think, were Bogota and Cartagena. Cartagena is honestly the most expensive place we've visited in Colombia, but looking back now, being in Panama, it was still cheap than here. So Colombia is still probably one of the cheapest countries in Latin America. I haven't visited them all, but I've discussed with other people, and I think it is. Now, regarding transportation, buses are, I think, pretty affordable, but flying, we paid around $50 to $80 for one internal flight with baggage. With I think it's a good deal, because we usually bought these flights like 1 or 2 days in advance. We weren't planning, because if we planned with more time before, I think they would have been even cheaper. So that's it. Regarding food, you can find street food for less than $1. Very delicious food, not too healthy, but delicious. And we even went to some very expensive looking restaurants where we paid less than $10 for a good meal. So you can, I think you won't pay more than $10 for a very good meal in a very nice restaurant. Otherwise, you will find even daily menus with soup, with rice and meat, lemonade, all of it with just $4 or $5. So very affordable. If you like to drink, alcohol can be a bit more expensive, especially if the bars have live music or DJ or a great party scene. Cocktails can be $8-9, but the local beer can be like less than $1. So that's a good thing. For the tours that we did, they were really affordable comparing to other countries that we visited. For example, for the tour with the bicycle in Bogota, we paid I think less than $15 per person, and it was a very amazing value. I will leave you the link below, but also don't forget to check the episode. Also, we did the downtown tour, which was a free walking tour, but we eventually tipped 40,000, which I think again is like 10 euros or so, $10. We also did the boat tour in Guatapé, which was $4 per person, so you can get involved in a lot of activities for a very small budget, and that's a thing that I really enjoyed about Colombia. No matter how much money you have, you will probably find something that fits your budget. Now that I'm approaching the end, I want to discuss a very important subject when we are talking about Colombia, which is the safety issue. We received a lot of warnings from our family, from our friends, from media, you know, that Colombia is a country with a very ugly past, and there are still reminiscences in the present, which is a bit true. And we were honestly super afraid when we got to Colombia, so that's why we took a lot of precaution measures. Maybe we were safe because of these measures, I don't know, but it did make us feel safer, and we didn't have any major issues. Of course, everyone's experience is different, and I'm not denying what others have said that had happened to them, because you will find a lot of videos on the internet with a lot of ugly experiences of other travelers. So maybe it was luck, maybe because we were traveling as a group of 3 people, me, my boyfriend, and a friend of ours. I don't know. Would suggest you not skip Colombia because of this fear, because there are a lot of places that felt even safer than back home. So if you are really super afraid, maybe avoid Bogota and Medellin, because the big cities, especially downtown, there can be more unsafe. But places like Salento and Guatapé, with some of the most friendliest people we've ever met. We could walk at night, we could walk with our phone in our hands. There was no problem, and we never felt unsafe. So you can go to smaller places, to smaller communities. What I would suggest you, when researching about places that you are visiting, please, in Colombia you have to do that. Know where you are going, and if the neighborhood you are heading or the neighborhood you are staying in is a safe one, because there can be like a neighborhood more expensive, very safe, near a neighborhood that is unsafe, and as you want to go to the safe neighborhood, you can cross to the unsafe one, and you can get in trouble. But what you can do to avoid this, you can, for example, grab an Uber that will take you from point A to point B, so this way you will avoid any trouble that can cause you if you would be walking. We in these cities, we took Ubers all the time. I hope you would not consider us too paranoid or anything, but also because, especially in Bogota, we had just 2 days, it was not time. We decided we will not use other means of transportation than Uber, and it was really safe. Even though Uber is illegal, you won't have any issues. Regarding Bogota now, I would suggest you a very nice and safe neighborhood to stay in, which is Chapinero. Very nice coffee scene, very nice people, a lot of people walking their dogs even at night, very, very safe. Then in Salento, it's super safe. We did not have any issue. We walked it with our phone in our hands. Maybe we were crazy doing that, but anyway, our intuition was telling us that it is a very safe place. Then we had issues with Medellin. In Medellin, we did not do our research, and we stayed in downtown. And downtown in Colombia, in the big cities, is exactly the place you don't want to be, because there will be a lot of homeless people, there will be a lot of garbage, a lot of noise, a lot of crazy people, so you should avoid downtown. And in Medellin, you should definitely stay in El Poblado or Laureles, and you should not walk at night in downtown. we couldn't get out of our home because we were staying in downtown, and we had a very nice view from our accommodation. I'm not denying it, we loved our Airbnb, but when we walked down the balcony, we could see a lot of homeless people sleeping right in front of our block, so we did not feel safe there. Again, in Medellin, we used a lot of Uber, except for the part when we went on a tour of Comuna 13, and we went with the guide with the metro, which felt safe, and a lot of locals used them. And we also took the cable car as well in Medellin as part of the tour, and some local buses. But I don't know, I wouldn't do that if I were alone or with my boyfriend apart from the tour, though we met a lot of travelers who were using the metro and they said it's safe. Again, what I want to say about Medellin, when we went on a tour of downtown, the girl who we were with told us a lot of time to watch our pockets, to not have things in them, to watch our things. And we also noticed that we were at one point followed by some men who were targeting my purse, which I had over here. But we did not have issues, but we were all the time like that, because she said in Medellin, especially at crosswalks and at the market in the center and in the downtown, it is very unsafe. And there are again a lot of homeless people there and weird looking guys that were creepily watching us. Regarding Guatapé, I told you, a very nice community, no issues. We walked at night, we walked even if there was no one on the streets. It was really dark. Our accommodation was not in the center. We had to walk like 20 minutes out of the city, and we felt really safe. And we saw a lot of police there, so the community was well taken care of by the police. So it was very nice. And now reaching Cartagena, where we had an incident, our only incident that we encountered in terms of safety in Colombia happened in Cartagena, and I will get to it. But first I want to say that during the day we felt pretty safe there, but you could see that as the sun was setting, people were becoming more violent. I don't know how to tell you, but even people approaching us, they were more pushy. Like during the day they were, oh hi, do you want me to sing you a song? But then during the night they were like, come on man, come on man. I don't know, it felt very, very strange, like people were transforming after dark. I don't know if it sounds weird or not, but we haven't felt that just in Cartagena, that people were transforming after the sunset. And also there were a lot of women selling their bodies, you know, in the center, which, like, during the day we were in a piazza that was very beautiful at El Torre del Reloj, at the tower with the clock. Very nice views, amazing, quiet, peaceful. And then during the night there were like hundreds of women dressed or undressed and just waiting for men there in the center, and it was a very, very weird vibe. But during the day Cartagena is amazing, beautiful, colorful, music, everything. So my suggestion would be not walk after dark in Cartagena, stay in the center so you can reach home easily. And if you're not staying in the center and you're staying out and there are not a lot of people on the streets, I would suggest you again just take an Uber or a taxi and it will leave you at home, and you don't have to walk during through sketchy neighborhoods. And now regarding the incident that happened to us, which is pretty common. It happened to us before in Barcelona, so that's why we knew how to avoid it. We were walking during the night in a pretty crowded neighborhood. There were other people on the street as well, and then there was a man who wanted to do high five with Alex, my boyfriend, and in the meantime he wanted to steal from his pocket because he saw that he has a phone in his pocket. So he wanted to grab his hand like this, the right hand, and in the meantime steal his phone. But Alex knew and he did not do high five with him, because he approached us very friendly, like, hey man, how are you, high five. But we knew this scheme from Barcelona, so we avoid him. We were like, no thank you, no thank you, and we left. But in the meantime he was almost with his hand in Alex's pocket, and then we saw him that he went to this scheme in the back with another people, so we hope they didn't lose their phone, but anyway, it is what it is. We went to Latin America knowing that it might happen to us anytime, so it's a risk that you need to take into consideration when coming here, but it's not a major risk, and it's not a life-threatening risk if you get pickpocketed. In the end, I want to tell you some tips that we also put into practice while traveling Colombia, such as when you are getting money out of the ATM, please do it in a space that it's inside, like a mall or a market. Don't do it on the street because people can watch you and follow you and steal your money because they know you just took cash out of the ATM, and it's a thing in Colombia for them to stalk you. It's like a full-time job. They know what they're doing. They're stalking you, and when you reach a point that it's dark or on an alley with no one there, they will steal your money. So please be careful with your surroundings all the time. Number two, I would suggest you to not keep all your money in the same spot. Let's say you get threatened by someone and they are telling you, give me all your money. You can get some money out of one pocket and tell him, look, this is all I have, grab it. But then you will still have in the back pocket, in the front pocket, in a pocket underneath your clothes, or hidden places. So you will have other money, other cards. Don't keep everything in your pocket or in your bag, just in one place. Another suggestion, be very careful with your passports. I don't know if I would suggest you keep them with you or keep them at home. Maybe keep them at home if you really know that they are secure. For example, we could leave them in Medellin because we had security at the main entrance, and no one could enter the building except for the people staying there, and it felt really, really safe inside the building. But otherwise, if I felt like I'm staying in a hostel and anyone could have access to my things, I would not leave them at home. So put them in balance and see, but take care with those, because people were saying that a lot of locals, like bad guys, want to steal your passports and do bad things with them, like going to the bank, getting money, doing bad things on your name. And then when you want to get out of the country, you won't have your passport, and you will have a lot of things, you will be guilty of them. So they will accuse you of a lot of bad things that you did and you haven't. Another tip that locals, guides told us, don't get out after dark. As a main idea, if you don't see locals walking their dogs or with their children, or you see shops that are starting to close, that's the time when you should go home. So especially in Medellin and Bogota, if you are in a good neighborhood and there are people out just casually walking, you will probably be safe. But if the locals don't do it, you don't do it. Another thing and scheme that is very common in Colombia is to get drugged. So always be careful with your drink and don't go out drinking with people you have just met. Be careful with dating, be careful with using dating apps such as Tinder and other things, because maybe good-looking women or men will take you out for a drink, and when you're not looking, they will put different substances in your drink, get you drugged, rob you and stuff like that. So always watch your drink and be careful with whom you trust. Another thing that we did not wear watches, we did not wear jewelry. I left my ring back home in Romania. We usually wear simple clothing without logos. We don't want to look rich. We are not rich, but we don't want to look rich as well. So we dress very basic, very casual, so we don't attract attention. And just don't wear your gold necklace here, because probably when you're leaving Colombia, you won't have it with you. So you're also putting yourself in danger, because material things don't matter as much as your life, and you don't want to attract attention of a bad guy. and put your life in danger because you just want to wear your golden necklace. To conclude, with these tips, with these safety tips, I'm not by any means saying that Colombia is a country that is not safe and that you should not travel. We took all these precaution measures and we did not have any issue. Of course, you don't have to do this in other countries, so it might get uncomfortable at first that, oh my god, I have to take out my watch, I can't go with my camera around, I can't wear any jewelry. It might be uncomfortable for some people, but we saw a lot of people that were doing this, and I'm sure most of them did not have any issue. But if you want to be safe, you want to enjoy your experiences, you don't want to attract attention and get into trouble, you do this, and I can assure you 99% that you will not have any major issue while traveling Colombia. And honestly, my advice is to visit it because it's an amazing country. And I want to tell you something in the end as well about the people of Colombia. They were one of the most amazing people we've ever met in our lives. Very warm, very full of life, full of music. Honestly, the vibe that Colombia gets you, I don't think you will encounter in any other country. Really, they have the most amazing music and the most amazing people. And I salute all of you and thank you for the warm welcome. With the warm welcome that you received us in the country, it was absolutely amazing, and we loved it so much that even after 1 month there, we still want to return, maybe even earlier than expected. We don't know, because we're still here in the area, so we might go back at some point. There are still a lot of places that we haven't discovered that we want to travel and explore. And it's an amazing country that you have to visit. Guys, if I haven't answered to all of your questions and you still need me to answer to, I don't know, things that I haven't talked about, please ask them in the questions, because I haven't used the script for this. Maybe I should have. So I'm sure that I missed talking and discussing about a lot of things that were important. But I will answer gladly. It's my pleasure to talk about Colombia, so I will answer in the comment. In case you liked today's episode, don't forget to subscribe. It's free. Leave a like and a comment. It will really help me. And I'll see you next time.